We're here to talk about land use, growth boundaries, farmland preservation, and how we can be more effective in doing that. We have here Jeff Zare with Lehigh County in farmland preservation. Tell us a little bit about the issue.
Okay, well, I've been doing farmland preservation work for like 26 years now, and in Lehigh County we've been purchasing the development rights on farms for I think we're up to 21,200 acres preserved with perpetual conservation easements, and I don't really have the statistics in front of me in terms of how much land has been lost. Do you have that, Maria? Or? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Maria Benzoni from Northampton County Farmland Preservation. It's tough to calculate the exact number of acres lost or converted each year for the simple fact that each county totals their acreage a little bit differently. In Northampton County, they add all of our agricultural land in with vacant land. So it's a misnomer as far as the accurate number of what we've lost. But we can tell, based on the agricultural system, that we're losing farmland at a high rate, even though the market is still down. We're still losing farmland at a higher rate. So that's why we're here to talk about it and see what we can do to support it.
I did find the statistics. So in the U.S. Census of Agriculture from 2002 to 2012, according to the U.S. Census of Agriculture, we lost 26,785 acres of farmland in Lehigh and Northampton County to development. So,
In what period of time?
that was from 2002 to 2012, 10 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So what do we think is the solution here? Anybody have a solution?
Advocacy is one. We need to advocate to our local leaders as well as our political county level leaders, state leaders, that funding has to be in place, it has to be consistent, and support for agriculture has to be consistent. It's not just about saving the farmland, we have to save the farmers too. So we need to bring back that infrastructure to the valley that we've lost over recent years. So it's advocacy, it's education, it's support, it's resource management.
Don Miles. I think before we get to the solution, we need to understand the cause. I do environmental law and land use law. I was a solicitor for municipality for 24 years. And as many things, the problem starts with the law. Oh, actually, it starts with money and then the law. You wouldn't be surprised those two things are together. Empty farmland, because that's the way developers look at it, it's not empty. It's actually industrial land that is used to produce food. But they look at it as vacant land. It's cheaper than land where there are already things built or where there were used to be things built, like right next door here where the steel mill was. So there's an incentive for people who want to build things to buy the cheapest land. That causes them to have to go to municipalities to get approval, and the problem is the law allows them to do that easily. First of all, they have political power derived from their money, but second of all, the law is in their favor. The state zoning law, called the Municipalities Planning Code, was essentially written by the Pennsylvania Builders Association. That law says that every municipality and regions like ours, where we have a Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, has to have a comprehensive plan. Most of them have really good things in them. But the MPC, the Municipalities Planning Code, also says those plans have no legal effect. They can be totally ignored. If you have a township or a borough or city that is willing to enforce their comprehensive plan, it's fine. But with the political pressure, most of them don't do that. Even if their zoning law is written in conformity with their comprehensive plan, which is generally done to preserve farmland, they can change the zoning law at the request of a developer. By the way, that's exactly what happened in our largest loss of farmland in the last couple of years, the 700 acres in western Lower Macungie Township. I represented the people that tried to stop that. The developer met with newly elected township officials in secret and entered into an agreement that nobody knew about, that was voted upon with 3 days' notice, to change the zoning law. That's what happens as a practical matter. Since the state law doesn't protect the land, and since developers who want to have an incentive to buy cheaper land, and there's no law to stop them, that's why we keep going out. We've talked at Renew about some of the possible solutions, which involve getting municipalities to band together to have regional comprehensive plans with an agreement between them that if anybody violates the comprehensive plan, the other ones can come after them. We have to do it on a regional basis because the state legislature isn't going to do anything. Those guys are bought and paid for by the same people who wrote the state zoning law. And we have to coordinate with the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission to try to get them to use their influence to deny state funding to any municipality that violates the county comprehensive plan. There's state money that is directed by the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission through PennDOT and other agencies, and they could, if they wanted to, say, well, you can build that warehouse, but we're not going to let PennDOT spend any money to build the road to it.
This was the land use table, and no, I was the table host. I asked Don Miles to get the state.
We started with a couple of negatives that we all agreed on. The first was there's no help from state law for preserving farmland because the state law has no teeth with respect to preserving the farmland through comprehensive plans that every municipality has. And we agreed that there was little chance of changing the state law because the legislature is largely controlled by development interests. So the solutions have to be local. And we concluded that two things we could do. Well, the goal locally is to re-educate and develop influence with local municipalities, with township and borough and city officials. So the two things we thought we could do to further that were to go to municipal meetings. There are 62 municipalities in Lehigh Valley, and probably 61 of them have almost nobody at their meetings. So if we go to these meetings and talk about farmland preservation, we can let them know that there's some influence. But in order to overcome the money that development interests also have with local elections, the largest group of contributors to township supervisors is always developers. We need to get people out to vote. And we need to deal with the problem that municipal elections are in odd number of years when nobody votes. And in many townships, they are one-party townships, so that the primary is important. In most primaries, in odd numbered years, the turnout is below 10%. So we need to persuade people that it's very important to come out and vote in their primaries in odd number years, like this one. And we're still trying to figure out how to best do that. In the meantime, the one thing that we decided on doing immediately is to all of us host a party for at least half a dozen people and to talk about these issues and to talk about the reason that we need to preserve farmland so that we have local food, and try to recruit people to help us with the other things that we said that we need to do to make change happen at the local level, because it's not going to happen in Harrisburg.